Good morning and welcome to Smart Impressions. I'm your host, Rachel, and we are so excited to have you here. We are unlocking business relationships one connection at a time. Now, if you ever felt that, oh my God, AI is going to take over my job, well, then this is a show for you. I got a professional expert that's talking to the world about how that is not true and it's not going to happen for you. Melissa Stiers, thank you so much for joining us to the show.
I am so excited to be here, Rachel. I'm a huge fan. I love your audience. I love what you're doing, and I am pumped to have this conversation. So thank you for having me.
So glad you're here. Straight from Florida. We got opposite sides of the world. When we talk about global, we're doing it right now, right here, and we're live on LinkedIn. So I invite anyone listening to jump into the conversation and ask your key questions, because we're going to dive right into it with our limited time and get to the nuts of what AI is doing for humanity. And when I say that, we're an older generation that may not have grown up in AI, but we got to implement it into our life today. And there's so much to learn. So tell me, Melissa, how are you impacting this with the professionals globally?
So I am the head of global growth and expansion for Mia AI. We are a learning platform that trains non-technical talent, women and men, in the skills of AI and emerging tech. Our mission is really to upskill 1 million non-technical women in AI by 2030, because you may or may not know this, the World Economic Forum predicts that by 2030, 85% of the jobs that are going to be here have not even been created yet. Of those jobs, 80% will be women's roles. And so what we tell people is, don't be scared. It's not that AI is going to take your job. It's the people that know and understand AI. Those are the people that are going to get the job. So we don't want any non-technical talent left behind. We are for those non-technical folks that, hi, like me, like, how do I do a QR code or whatever? That's how I was when I started. I do not have a tech background. And now I feel everyone should call themselves technical. So we are in 65 countries around the world. We have about 1,300 learners and about 15,000 community members. So we are global. I'm in Florida, but my heart is with you in Dubai. I have a big love of the Middle East and also just of the globe. So I'm so happy that I'm working at an international company.
Incredible. Well, it's a great time to be where you are and really impacting. I know you were a speaker at Davos, and I want to just tap into these borders of cultural borders that exist so prominently in business, right? What are some of the ways that AI is really kind of helping, lessen these high walls that people have to go over to try to get into those new countries and explore unknown territories with different cultures?
Absolutely. When I think about AI, I think about one of the number one tools is you should look at it as your personal assistant, as your virtual assistant. And so I am also a trained protocol officer, which is very much, it goes back to how do you give gifts and how you do business overseas, and goes back to like the Congress of Vienna. And what you can do with AI and use AI is you can turn that into, I'm going to be traveling to the country of Oman for the first time in my life. What is it? What's the gift giving policies? What is the culture like? What are the weekends? Because, we have different weekends in the US. It's Saturday, Sunday. In many places it's Friday, Saturday. What does that look like? So you can turn AI into your personal assistant, your virtual assistant, your research tool, your briefing tool, your itinerary tracker, all of that stuff. You can feed it and it will work for you. And that's what I love about it.
Amazing. So it really gives you the insight, information, and really tools that you can help just engage in those different those cultures and these different countries, without even going and being there, just spending a few minutes to go and do that. So I love that. I love that. Now, there's no doubt businesses have a huge amount of diversity. And when it comes to marketing and even client engagement, this is a true thing. Everyone says, oh, the technology, and there's no doubt it can help support. But what other ways are you seeing this AI tool kind of use with marketing strategies, sales strategies, and that customer engagement journey?
Sure. So you're using the right word, and the right word is tool. AI is a tool. We are never going to lose the human to human connection. That's not going to happen. I don't believe that. Our stance is we will always need the human to human. So AI is going to help you understand the regions that you're working with. I even take, moving to just looking at the United States, doing business in central, New York City versus doing it in rural Missouri is very, very different. And so what does it look like when you're going to go market the same product to those different areas? Well, people are going to talk different. They're going to have different colloquial ways that they say things. They're going to say bless your heart, but they're not really going to mean it. They're going to talk very fast if they're East Coasters. And so AI is going to be, once again, that tool that helps you break that down and might be able to analyze and say, listen, these are the fears that your market in Missouri is facing versus these are the challenges that your market in New York is facing. This is what I recommend. You can have AI actually create an entire marketing plan for you. You can have AI create an entire your whole social media calendar. Like, once again, there's so many different ways that it's able to do that, and it can help you segment into these different areas. However, AI is still learning, and AI learns from us. That's why it is super important that we have diverse voices feeding into AI. And what I mean by that is we need Indigenous voices. We need women's voices. We need minority voices talking and telling AI what's going to happen. Because if you do not do that right now, if you put in, give me a picture of a woman, it's going to be blonde hair, blue eyed, 6 foot tall. And that's what it's going to be unless you really, really dig down. I don't know if you followed the Dove campaign, but Dove actually, if you put in to Chat GPT, show me beauty standards by Dove, it will give you much more diversity. And so once again, it's a tool, but you've got to check what they're telling you, because they might show you a picture of someone based in working in Morocco, but it might not be accurate. So it's still learning, and it's learning from us. So the more that we feed it, the more that we train it, the more accurate it's going to be.
So what about language? Because that comes up, and that's important, and that's prominent. There's no doubt that there's a lot of advancements going on with language. I just traveled to Europe. I went to a country that didn't speak their language, and I sat there with Google Translate the whole time, just having a conversation and being able to do something that I was not able to do years ago. So what other ways do you see that the AI tools, is it dependable? Can people use it as a resource? Can they use it for even communication channels in other languages?
Absolutely. And one of the biggest things that you can do is you can also ask for tone. Can you tell me the tone of, like, what is the tone? What are the mannerisms? What are the nonverbal cues including with the language that I should be looking for when I'm going to Estonia? What are the nuances in languages? What are words that I should look out for that mean something totally different or can mean 3 different things? So once again, it's a really great tool to help you understand where you're going and what you're doing. But if you put in like, tell me the tone, or tell me the most respectful way to ask for something, or what is more friendly, because maybe you want to talk friendlier and you're coming out very formal. So AI can help really work that around for you. So it very much helps with tone and mannerisms, as well as just direct translate, because Google Translate will tell you word for word, but things will get lost in translation,
as they tend to do. Now, I know a lot of people listening, and we got a bunch of people on LinkedIn. They're out here professionally connecting with people every single day. And there's no doubt AI is a trending topic in the UAE. They have done an entire advancement to create a community, a department, even a division of the country where you can build and really expand AI development and education, and to help with that integration, that involvement and implementation within business and community, specifically here in the UAE. Now, one of my biggest concerns, this is a soft spot for me, is the amount of AI stuff coming up. I mean, it's really hard to decipher which one should I go for. There's quite a lot, and it's overwhelming. You know, that code came out and boom, it exploded everywhere. I mean, everywhere from LinkedIn on down is now telling me I could use AI with it. So what are you seeing? You know, what are some of the kind of the protocols that people should be considering when choosing to use AI? And as you said, it's about information. If they get the wrong information, they could be giving you the wrong information. So how do you protect yourself to make sure that you're utilizing the right tools and really it's adding value rather than decreasing it? What do you got?
That is, oh my gosh, that's such a great question. So at Mia AI, when we are doing our orientation, we actually show a slide that changes all the time, because there are so many that list all the tools, and they're like this big, you can't even see. There's so many tools. Yeah. And I'm going to say something that's a little controversial, and I'm curious if anybody in the chat's going to push back against me, but there are no AI experts. There are AI educators. There are one of our brilliant AI strategists in in an AI PhD program right now. But if somebody comes and tells you, I am an AI expert, That's kind of impossible. That's kind of like me coming and telling you I am an expert of all oceans and everything that ever lived in the ocean. Like there's
Yeah.
just way too much. They can say I'm an AI educator in these different areas, in ethics or in prompting or in content creation or something. So I think first and foremost is you have to understand what you need the AI for. If you do not need it to create a legal brief, then those are all the tools you don't need to be near. If you're doing it for marketing purposes, you need to look at those. But the other thing is to really not. I'm going to go back to the ocean analogy. You can't drink it all at once. Like it's just way too overwhelming. So you've got to figure out your needs. You've got to work with organizations like us or other educators and influencers that'll give you tips and tricks and say, for marketing, follow these 5 tools right now, or these are the hottest. For writing, do this, because if you go into the world, you're going to get lost. Yeah, you're going to get pissed. You're going to get lost.
Yeah.
But the other thing is whatever you're doing, we also teach ethics, and that's something that I'm excited about. Is that ethics is actually, there are ethical conversations taking place around AI right now. And if you think back to like 08, 06, when Facebook and all that stuff was coming out, there were not the ethics conversations that we're having now, which is exciting. Because there are a lot of different parameters. There's a lot of, with your entrepreneurs, they have people's sensitive information. How do we keep that sensitive? How do we make sure that what we're putting in is not going to go anywhere? And so I definitely think that another starting place for everyone is to look at ethics, like look at an ethics course, which we happen to have, or look at different organizations that make sure they have ethical AI practices. But I'm excited about that because we did not have those conversations 20 years ago when social media was out, and I really wish we would have, because now we're backtracking and it's hard to catch up there. So that's exciting too.
Awesome. Well, what about, and I really was referring to, like, you fall into a black abyss. If there's too many to consider, you just kind of get lost and overwhelmed, and you probably just stop. And I think there's a lot of people that are probably listening going, I don't need AI. I'll have somebody else on my team learn it. It's not for me. What do you say to those people that kind of just want to let it go and not touch it because it's overwhelming and may even be intimidating, and it could be a little scary, right? And it's just because
Sure.
it's new.
Sure. Well, that is actually why Mia AI was created, because it was to actually combat the mindset. Number one, AI is a mindset. That is what we teach. It is like anything else. One of our oldest participant to date is 83 years old. That's gone through our program. So you're never too old. You are never too out of touch to be able to learn this. So that's number one, is that AI, you can do it. And number two is you have to do it. So yes, you can farm things out, but there is no avoiding AI. And AI has been around for years. It didn't just pop. It feels like it just popped up like 3 or 4 years ago, but it's been around, I think, since the 1950s. But to put your head in the sand, it's like saying, I'm not going to use the light bulb. So it's here. It's the next revolution. It's the next wave of technology. It's the boom. And so you don't need to, once again, you're not going to become an expert, and you don't need to become an educator, but you need to have an understanding, and you can do it. It is not like, it's not what we picture in our brains with the coding and super hard, and you're back like in an office for 8 hours looking at a screen like the Matrix. It's nothing like that. It's really interesting, and there is a place for you to there's a place for you to apply it in your life, whether you are putting together a grocery list, whether you are putting together a marketing plan, whether you are putting out legal briefs, like however you're going to, whatever you need it for, there is resources for it. And yes, it does feel overwhelming, but that's why there are organizations like ours and others that can hold your hand and get you into that process. But I say, you have to do it because it's here. So don't be afraid of it, because it's here to help, not to hurt. Well,
yeah, I love that. Yeah, I love that. So our topic today was AI to upskill your skills so that you can be more aware of it and really deal with it better, right? And so overcome those fears, get in there, try to get knowledge that's going to add to your experience with AI and really help you use that tool effectively. So Melissa, before we wrap, because it's a short one, I do it quick, like a New York City minute. What are 3 things that people can implement and they can start to prioritize when it comes to AI learning and really looking at it from a different perspective and how it could be a helping tool?
Sure. Well, first of all, I would encourage them to connect with me and Mia AI on LinkedIn, because we are always sharing tips and tricks. Find influencers, 5 organizations that are sharing some bite-sized information that you can follow along with easy. The second thing is maybe try one tool. Just try one tool and commit to maybe 10 minutes a day or even 15 minutes for the whole week, because you've got entrepreneurs, we're all busy, to just play around with it. And the third thing is to give yourself grace in all of this, because this is changing fast. And if you feel like, holy cow, oh my goodness, it's already changed, that's all right. It's moving fast. It's really exciting that you're even trying it. Give yourself grace and give yourself a pat on the back, because so many people are still staying away from it. So even if you're asking questions, if you're looking into it, if you're reading an article, you are ahead of the curve. So follow influencers, try to play around with it, and then just give yourself a little bit of grace. And also give yourself, I'm a words of affirmation person, so give yourself some encouragement for being courageous and stepping into this new world, because it is here, and you're going to get pushed into it or you can walk into it. So I would encourage you to go boldly and courageously and walk into it.
Great. I love that. And let's close with a good affirmation about AI that you can give my audience. I am an AI expert. What would you give them?
I am an AI learner, constantly learning, constantly growing, and constantly achieving through AI. That's a long one. So
all right, break it down.
I'm an AI learner.
I love it. I'm an AI learner. I love to learn AI. That could be another one. Really keeping it positive. And again, it's a mindset. I love that part, Melissa. You've shared some great bite-sized information that really people are going to take forward to their AI journey to really penetrate their professional life and really see exactly how they could thrive forward. So I appreciate your time. I'm so grateful for you and sharing your knowledge, and obviously your platform, sharing the knowledge that's needed for people to really thrive. So thank you for doing that and everything you're doing for those communities, because it's a ripple effect, right?
It is, and what you're doing is amazing. I'm so honored to be on here, Rachel. Your mission and what you're called to do is so awesome. So I love it when good people get together, because we can change the world. So,
yes, that's what we're doing. We're changing the world globally, one learner at a time. So Melissa, thanks again for joining us on Smart Impressions. I hope you guys have found it so valuable. Reach out to her. Do not hesitate and check out what they're doing over there. It's really good stuff and can give you all the support you need to really go into the AI world with a new opening horizon, and really the support you need to really thrive. So thanks again for joining us. I'll see you guys next week with another great guest and great valuable insight to help your relationship and you connecting one business at a time. See you soon.